Welcome back. Thanks for watching. I really do appreciate it. Please like, share, and subscribe. I am going to continue on the Buggy build out here. I am actually going to do some plumbing today and a little bit of electrical. Plumbing wise, I've got a radiator that sits in the back and an engine sits in the front, and those are in fixed locations. They are not moving. They cannot be changed. So this is a good time to plumb the cooling system. Same thing with the fuel system. I've got a fuel cell back here that was predetermined by the builder, and I have got a location at a fixed point for my fuel rail. So I need to connect the two, make them talk to each other nice, get a fuel pump installed. Now, they're using an external fuel pump, which is not my preference, but that's what they decided they wanted, so we're going to incorporate that in the plumbing and wiring. Wiring, I'm only going to do a little bit today, and that's because the wiring I need to do today, again, is kind of a prerequisite to the rest of the wiring. I've got a battery in a fixed location under the driver's seat. I have to drill a hole and mount a disconnect where the driver can get to it in an emergency. And then I need to put my posts for the positive side and the negative side of the battery, build some cables for that. The only other thing I think I will do on this video is move the winch. Why do I need to move the winch? Well, I'll show you. What's wrong with the front winch? Well, it sits too high. These have a solenoid box on the top of this particular winch. Now, this is a narrow drum winch. A lot of guys will pull the control box off and remote mount it somewhere. If you do that, it requires a lot of length of cable. That's never good, routing more high amp cable further away. But there's really not a lot of room in this buggy for things like this controller. So I started looking at the winch and I figured out they put a plate on top of the tube. So I just cut this plate off, and now we're going to mount the plate on the bottom of the tube. I'll have to massage a little bit on one of the tubes, make it a little different. And then I can mount the solenoid control box back on top of the winch where it goes. I can still run my remote switches to control it from the dash. It's just all in all a better, cleaner install at that point. And I hate to break it to a lot of people, but when you're doing stuff like this, neatness counts. Not only is it easier to work on, it's more aesthetically pleasing. It also is far more functional if it is a neat and clean installation. You won't have things chafing, rubbing, leaking, breaking because they were not installed in a clean manner. All right, well, we'll get started now and see how she goes. Started the winch relocation. I removed the winch and then cut out the old plates. Once I have the plates cut out, I actually ended up cutting the tubes out too, just because I didn't want to have to re-weld over cut up, messed up tubing. So sometimes you're better off just starting over on little items like this instead of trying to patch over it. Once all the tubes are cut out, cleaned up the old welds on the main part of the chassis, got it ready for the new tubes and the new plate to be installed underneath. Just got to get it held up enough to tack it in and centered. Once I tacked the plate in, I tacked the tubes in, then welded it all together. And to massage this down a little bit, just enough to clear the winch motor. I also had to notch the fins for the heat sink on this. Winch fully installed, Now all I have to do is run my little remote harness from the momentary switch on the dash. Now I tested it with the switch for the remote that plugs into it. It all still works really good. It fits nice and tight. I'm real happy with how this came out. So I've got a master switch here. Now I wire my master switches to the negative side of the battery cable. I will have a common post somewhere up under the engine compartment for running positive feeds. But if I have a negative cutout on the battery, everything gets disconnected from the battery if that is hit. Now I'm putting this between the two front seats where it's really easy to get to when, oh, you go upside down. Tend to do that a lot in these buggies and stuff. So that was one of the mistakes I've learned over the years. I put my one on my black Jeep over on the dash. I can reach it in a pinch, but this is sure a lot handier. When you go over, you can just click it off and you don't have to worry about the engine running or the alternator feed. It cuts it out. You have no negative ground on the system at all. So I've got that installed now. Now I'm going to build a couple of little battery cables, one going from the battery to the switch, and then I'll weld a tab somewhere onto the frame down here, and the frame will be the common route for all the grounds. Clean cut, no heat. And just take the knife and strip the end of it off. So I strongly recommend putting your heat shrink on before you put your end on. You can usually stretch them over like this will, but sometimes they're a little tight, kind of a pain in the butt, so you put them on first, it's a little easier. Got your insulation strip back, your end on. And then we'll just crimp this bad boy down. Take no prisoners. Once that's on, set the heat shrink. Got a few tabs welded in so that I have something to hang the wire from that won't get run over, hit by rocks. A couple of ground posts, small one for engine grounds, bigger one for other grounds like, oh, I don't know, bigger engine grounds. And then on the bottom, I've got a post which is for the positive main battery feed junction, and then I can run a starter feed down, and I will run fusible feeds into the dash. You can see I've got my battery post up here where the firewall is going to be, and that'll provide the power for the front half of the buggy, including the winch, alternator, main computer, all that stuff, anything going to the front half. And then this main battery cable, you can see I've run it down and made sure I had good hangers. It's going behind the shutoff switch. Now the shutoff switch ties my negative. Now I built two battery cables. One of these cables will go to that front post, and this other one will go to the rear of the buggy somewhere to power a rear fuse block. Got my AN number 6 fitting added here for the injection rail. And if you notice, I ran a piece of PEX pipe down underneath the chassis. First of all, it's flexible. It will keep fuel line from becoming abrased if it rubs on anything, flexes. Plus, if for some reason the line ruptured back here at the tail end, it would just push gas out the end instead of all over underneath your driver's seat, which is probably where you don't want fuel, especially since there's exhaust on the other side. Trying to keep all of the fuel and electrical over here. We'll keep the exhaust by itself over there. Figuring bracketing and stuff. We'll see where this ends up. Looks like we should be good there. You might be asking yourself, why use clamps instead of either threaded together AN fittings or a crimped fitting for your fuel line? I look at where I'm going to be using a buggy, or where this guy's going to be using a buggy, is going to be probably a long ways away from a parts store. Now, if he ruptures a fuel line or breaks a fuel line or has a fuel pump failure or needs to get himself going again, there's a pretty good chance that someone has a piece of fuel line if you need it. I always leave these long anyway, so that if you have to cut one, you can. But if you can fix a problem with a screwdriver versus having to go to town to get something crimped or not have the right AN fittings to lock themselves together, you can probably get yourself out of a trail a lot easier. So sometimes thinking ahead to a simple solution might be a better way to go. You can see it's still a clean setup. I can unbolt it here if I want to check pressure, but if we have a line break or a line rupture, you can zip this off, put it on a new one, have it ready to go in no time. Still need to get some clamps back here. I never really liked having fuel line this close to coil pack, but somewhere it's going to cross. Next on the fuel system plumbing, I've got the fuel tank, which has a pickup inside the tank and then a return in the tank. Both of these need to come out of the tank and get down to a fuel pump. This is going to run an external fuel pump, not an internal tank pump. So once I get the lines routed to a location, I go from the tank to the pump, and then I go from the engine back to the pump. That way everything kind of meets in one place, and I can size it and make it as clean as possible. I do take a lot of time to drill holes, mount guide clamps and tabs. That way, if you have a zip tie break, you don't have to worry about your fuel line falling down onto a drive shaft or hitting a piece of exhaust. This makes it a lot, in my book, safer to run, I guess. Got our pump that'll go here. Lines will come up into return, feed. All right. Got tab welded in, which I will run my feed line as soon as that paint dries. These are dash 8s going to dash 6. I have no idea why these are dash 8s in this tank. There's a feed return, and that's the return up there. Again, I'm using clamps. You can disconnect or clamp. This way, out in the backwoods, you could make a change if something happened. Again, I spent a lot of time trying to run things neat and clean, clamped in place. I've got my fuel line from the filter regulator run, and then I work from the regulator to the pump, and then the pump back to the tank. Bosch external fuel pump, and that fuel pump goes to this newer style Corvette filter regulator. So this acts as the regulator and the filter for a one hose fuel system. We're back underneath this buggy, which is a pretty well protected area. Personally, I like in-tank pumps, but if you're going to use an external pump, A, carry a backup, and B, get a good one. This one is a Bosch pump. And again, remember I'm using multi-type fittings, so these are push-ons, these are -6, and then, of course, just a clamp-on line. That way, it's serviceable no matter where you're at. Once I'm done routing everything, I go back through the entire system and I tighten all of the fittings. I tighten the bulkhead fittings in the tank for the pickup. I also tighten all the exit fittings, and make sure you use counter wrenches on the end fitting. You don't want to break the head off of something you can't replace real easy. But after this, I go from the back clear to the front and make sure everything is tight and ready to hold fuel pressure. Remember, these take at least 58 pounds to start. You can see when they originally mounted this, they cut this to fit over that piece, but since the hoses have to fit higher, they could have left that just straight and it would have been just fine. Got a couple of these pieces of tube I chopped. I'll round the inside edge here so it won't be abrasive, and I'll use these as like fishing pole eyelets to run the radiator hose through. Now here's the radiator mount. Now it's fixed, and we've got these, it's pretty cool, they filled that. We've got these big AN fittings and 1.5 inch line. Now if we go down further, here's where I welded those two pieces of tube in a telescoping fashion. Lower radiator hose loops right into it, doesn't touch anything down here. Now, this is what they designed this buggy with. The comparison, what I'm doing with my buggy is I'm running the coolant through one of the frame rail tubes on each side. So that'll give you an idea of some differences there. Running the coolant hoses forward, again, I've got another pair of these type eyelets I made out of tube, and then the coolant runs back up the back side of the... I did want to point out this upper radiator hose. If you noticed, it was pointing towards the front of the vehicle. You can heat this up with a torch and turn them and let it cool down, and they'll seal just fine, just so you know. Now, on the top of the water pump, this is my steam port hose. Hopefully that'll draw enough vacuum with the water pump to work correctly. And then I also tapped another FIP for a coolant sensor. This way you don't have to use the computer stuff that the harness comes with. And now you can see under here where the cooling system hoses run and the fuel hose run. They are very well protected, and I'm using those pieces of tube I cut, just like the eyelets or telescoping pieces for a fishing rod, basically. You just make a guide that way and make sure they're not abrasive. I think that's enough for today. This may be a longer video than I was planning, but again, thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. I really do appreciate it. Soon, we'll be ready for some actual wiring. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you next time.
No, the fries
This is Pritchett Canyon. It's probably one of the prettiest trails out here. It's also one of the harder ones. We'll get to the hardcore stuff.
back there. Not all the way. Gas and go. Where do you want to hit the gas at? Keep going forward. Okay, throttle it from there. Keep walking it that way. It
Might find a notch.
go. That's good.
There's my buddy Rory from Trailmater. Has a few bazillion more subscribers than I do. But he's out here recreating, not working today. Yay. This is Rory's fiance, Chris. Found that diff grabber. Probably got the nitrous on. He doesn't do anything.
More nitrous!
I've been on this trail 4 or 5 times with Rory, and he's tried this obstacle. One of these days he's going to make it. So far, he's come close, but not quite gotten all the way out. And this time, there's so much moisture in that hole that I don't think he's going to get his front end up, so he'll probably have to do the other line. That's a good line. So close.
Just a little bit, I think you can make your tires touch it. Good. If you have to bump it, no. It's going to slam. Yeah, a little one, but because maybe one.
He's in a great line.
Yeah, that's a textbook. out and back up about a foot. You're gonna have to hold hard on your brakes. Okay, stand on them and turn driver. Okay, now ease forward. Okay, right there, start walking your steering wheel back and forth. You don't want to be on that rock. Go all the way, keep going. There you go. Oh, go farther, passenger. Okay, right there, I don't want you, no, I don't want you to back up. Just keep working your steering wheel. There you go, keep doing it. Passenger again. Driver. Okay, forward a little bit. Do it again on the steering wheel. Forward, 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 forward.
Come on.
There you go.
There it is.
Hold it, driver.
Easy. There you go.
Nice.
Okay, straighten out. There you go. Woo! Slow as you can go. Okay, walk it. You have to back up just a little bit. Go passenger just a little. Okay. Now go easy, easy.
Watching the guys with full hydro where they can be stuffed in a wall and move the whole.
Okay, easy. Full driver.
The rear steer's where I'm going next.
Oh, seriously. Yeah, that's like next level. I don't know if I've got the geometry skills for that. Some of those guys do is just mind bending.
Yep.
Forward still.
Wow. His other back tire. I think he's okay.
A little more forward. Okay, now walk your steering wheel. Back. Back to the driver. Back to the driver.
He actually has enough room he could back up if he needs to. There it is, coming right
Again,
around.
Passenger.
Might still slide down.
Driver.
Getting kind of close to that wall too, man. Just drifting.
Okay, crawl forward real easy, not far, like 2 inches. Okay, keep coming, keep coming. Keep coming. Keep coming. Okay, keep it hard drive or just crawl. Just crawl. Okay, straighten out a little bit. You're in the notch. Little driver. There you go.
Nice.
Looking good. Straighten up just a little bit. Oh. It'll take a little bump to get it up there. Hard driving now. Hard driving. Okay, stop. Passenger. Back slightly. Hard on your brakes. I know they're not great. A little more. A little more. Okay, hard driver. Forward. There you go. There you go. Very good. Okay, the steering wheel walking. What am I feeling for here? Nothing, you're just walking the front end over. Come forward a little bit. You coming? It's good, you coming? Okay, now walk it. Okay, now hard driver. Crawl forward, hard driver. All your driver. Good, keep going. Nice and easy. Oh, you're about 2 more pounds of your tires. They're forward, all right. Keep coming. Start to find these little rocks. Hey, straighten up. There you go, right there. Come drive a little bit. Straight. That's it. You're up. Go, go, go. Go. Go.
Good here?
I was trying to climb here for a second. Passenger right there. Passenger and forward. Passenger.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, back up just a little bit. Passenger, just back up a little bit. One more. Okay, right there. Keep it passenger. I want you to goose it so you can get that back to climb.
What's up?
Okay, now come driver hard. You're all right. We can teeter and it'll just go hard driver and go forward. Go, go, go. Okay, stop right there. Now we'll do the steering wheel. Back driver. Go forward. I don't want you to back up at all.
Yeah.
Because you're on the ledge now. Barely, but you're on. Still doing okay. Okay, now come hard driver. It's gonna come down. Okay, now back passenger. Driver. Forward a little bit. Turn a little bit. Okay, now walk it again. There it goes. Okay, now come driver.
Back there looks good.
Now forward. Come on, tires, shoot down. want you to turn passenger. I want you to back up just a hair. 6 inches. Right here,
Am I enough passenger?
It's clear.
You have to come forward to lock it. So go driver. Come forward. You might be able to drive through it there, so just easy, don't get on too much. We're going back passenger. There you go, driving now. You got it. We're going down one more time. There you go. Now driving. There you go. Go on.
Rear's getting light.
Okay, wiggle it again, back passenger. You can come down some more. Okay, like that. Just very lightly back. Okay, cat driver. Okay, just an easy crawl. You're on the line to climb out now.
shot monster. Right on.
Run! Go! Good. What's this one shot stuff? That ain't supposed to happen. There you are. See the veins popping out your neck? Well, that was exciting.
Trying to like roll into it without punchy, or being like punchy in the spinning. Oh, I really hope I see that green Jeep come over here soon. I think it's the alternator.
Nice.
See, that's how the runs get there. We were promised a show.
That was
No, you're all good. You're all good. All right, come back. You're gonna drop again. Yeah, you're gonna come down hard. Start turning faster a little. Yeah, you're gonna drop. Let it go slow. Yeah, coming down. Yeah.
more throttle, less direction. Be prepared to back down.
Probably. I have no idea.
Between those rocks at the top, or do you have to go over?
Go between them.
The dude who like
But as soon as you go